Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back once again to another Minecraft tutorial. Today we're going to be learning how to build this manor house right here, and in case you've got way too many houses as it is, I think this building here could just as easily be converted into some kind of a store. In fact, the area it's in right now has been turned into a bee farm, and then the whole inside has been converted so they can make wine in there. That being said, I still feel that in the end this building does most resemble some sort of a smaller sized mansion. And for those of you wondering how much space you're going to need for this build, the back and front of the building is going to be about 26 blocks wide, and then the two sides are going to be about 20 blocks in length. Now keep in mind, a lot of times with my builds there are a couple blocks here and there that stick out just a bit farther, so if you're worried about that, go ahead and leave yourself a little bit of extra room past the dimensions I mentioned. So for starters, just to make it easy on you guys when you have to place down where you want your build to go, we're going to go ahead and start on the very back of the build and then just add in pillars as we go around. Now keep in mind, wherever I place down one block like this, you guys will need to add a full pillar that's going to be 4 blocks tall, just like that. So that's where our first one's going to go. Then we're going to skip 2 gaps of 3, just like this, and there's also going to be the pillar in the middle. So as you can see, it is separated into the 2 gaps. And now we'll move back, going to the right, and that's where your 4th one's going to go. And then for this side, you'll skip a gap of 2, then 1 more, and then that'll be your final gap right there. So you can see 3 gaps of 2, and then on this side, all the way to the right, there's going to be 3 gaps of 3, and each of them are going to be separated by 1 pillar apiece. So just like that. And then moving on to the front of the build, this one is where it gets a little bit different. So you're going to move 1 block left, and then 1 block back, and then place your next pillar right there. Carrying on from that, we'll skip another gap of 3, and then do the same thing that we did on that side, except in the opposite direction. And then our next gap is only going to be 1 block wide, just like this. And now for our next one, what you can do is skip a gap of 3, place that one there on the corner, and then skip a gap of 2, going this way, and place that one there. And then, since there is going to be our tower, or just empty space here in the end, feel free to remove this. Then moving on from there, you can skip 1 more gap of 1, place that pillar, and then skip 1 gap of 3, moving to the left. We'll place another one there, and then do the same thing once again. And moving forward, you'll just separate this whole section here with 1 pillar right there in the middle. And our last thing that we need to do is just add 2 more pillars right here, and these will each be 1 block spaced away from the ones in front of it. Then next up, we're going to start the base of our tower, and for the first layer, you can go ahead and use all stone bricks, and then from there on out, I would recommend doing some kind of a mixture of cobblestone and the regular stone, like you see right here. So for this tower, you can go ahead and start right here on the right side of this pillar, and then we'll place a block, and then go 3 more blocks like that in a diagonal direction, going to the right, and then we'll place 2 more here. So that one becomes 3 blocks long, and then we'll do 1 more diagonal direction, going this way. And then you can place 1 more, and obviously that side right there is going to be blocked by the pillar. And then moving left, we'll go 1 more diagonal, like this, and then continue that 3, and you should see the pattern by now. And we'll just go ahead and continue it with 2 more diagonal blocks, and then fill in this last section so it becomes 3 blocks long. And there is one thing we're going to want to switch really quick, and that's going to be changing this block here into 1 more pillar of 4. And then before we go even further, what you guys are going to want to do is go all the way around the tower and make sure each block is raised up so it's 7 blocks tall in total. And make sure you do this above any of the pillars in the circle as well. Now once you have that complete, it should be looking very similar to what you see right here. And the next thing we're going to want to do after that's done is connect each one of our pillars with a crossbeam. And just make sure you continue this all the way around the outside of the build. And what you'll do after that is start to add these sticky addy bits on the tops of each one of the pillars. I'm assuming that was fairly easy for most of you, but just in case there were a couple locations where you maybe weren't sure if there should be a block or not, I'll go ahead and try and cover those right now. So say for this section right here, maybe you weren't sure if you put them in these corners, and I would say it's really up to you, but in the end I think it does look a bit better. Just try and make sure they're facing the same directions when you do add these in, and I think those 2 should be the only ones we need, although you could put one right here as well, and I think that could improve the look of the build. And there's also one section over here where you may wonder if you want to place a crossbeam there or not. And I'd say that's probably for the best. Now our next step is going to be filling in the walls for the first floor. So what you'll do here is take out your stone bricks and just do one layer of these all the way along the bottom. And keep in mind, this section right here, you're not going to want to fill in. This is kind of a cover above. And there's also going to be some rooms and whatnot up there as well. But just go ahead and leave these open, especially since it is the main walkway to get to the front door. Now above these stone bricks, what you'll do is add 2 layers of cobblestone. And just go ahead and fill everything in for now, and then we'll deal with adding some windows in a bit later. Before we go ahead and move on, I will recommend that you guys should probably carve out the bottom section of the tower, at least any part of it that is inside the house, just so you guys still have a walkway between this area and this area over here inside the house. And once that's done, what you guys will want to do is start adding these supports under each one of the sticky-yaddy bits. And you'll want to add these on every single one except these on the corners. Moving on, I think it's going to be easiest if we just go ahead and finish up the tower right now. So for this section, keep in mind wherever I place one block, you guys will need to do a column of 6. And for starters, we will place a column of cobblestone right here in this corner, and you can actually place one in each of the other 3 corners as well. And then our next step will be to place a column of 6 spruce wood blocks on each of the ones next to that. And these are going to be diagonal, so there'll be 1 block to the right and then 1 block up as well, just like this. And then once you have all of those in, make sure you place a cobblestone column in between those as well. Once you guys have got that done, it should be looking exactly like what you see right here. And in order to support the actual section where you can walk around in, what we'll need to do is place in some spruce wood stairs. And you're going to do 4 of these on each corner, 2 on the spruce wood pillars, and then also 2 in the middle on each side of the cobblestone pillar. And like I said, you'll need to do these on each of the 4 corners. After the spruce wood stairs are in place, it's relatively simple. All you'll do is place a column of 4 using your spruce wood logs, and these are going to go on each of the stairs on the flat parts. And in the end, you'll have a total of 8. After that, what we're going to do is take out our oak wood planks, and we can add 2 pillars in each of the corners, just like so. And then you'll also want to place a pillar in between the 2 spruce wood columns as well. And don't forget to add some kind of support beneath those, just so they don't look like they're floating in the end. Next up, what we're going to do is start shaping the roof of our tower. And I'm going to show you guys one of the 4 sides, and then you can replicate it once we're done. So starting on the middle of the one facing the front, you can place 3 like this. And keep in mind, this is going to be made out of the spruce wood planks. And once that's in, you can do another section of 3, and then a section of 2, and then one more section of 2. And once that's in, feel free to delete all the corner blocks. And then, like I said, go ahead and add these on each of the other 3 sides. Alright, and after all 4 of those are done, I'm sure you've noticed that the top is very flat, so I think adding maybe 3 more blocks up there should suffice. And then I also think it looks cool if you add in some upside down stairs on each of the corners facing up. Keep in mind, you don't have to do this, but you could also add in some spikes. And these can easily just be made out of cobblestone walls, or even fences if you think those look better. But just place these on top of each one of the stairs. And as always, feel free to add some kind of a flag on the very top. I think that can also look very cool. Before we actually add in our roofing material, I think in order to make this thing look a little bit better, we may want to add some decorations along the outside of the tower. So what we'll do is start by adding 2 spruce wood stairs like that, then 2 spruce wood planks above them, and we'll also do 2 more spruce wood stairs facing inwards like this. And then you can finish it off by placing a spruce wood half slab on the very top of the spruce wood plank section. And then moving to the left, you can do 2 more spruce wood stairs on each of the corners on the outsides, and also add 2 more spruce wood planks above those. And then in the middle, make sure and add a couple more spruce wood half slabs. And this pattern's going to go all the way around the rest of the tower, so just continue it as you go around. In terms of filling in each of these empty sections on the roof of our tower, what we'll do is add 2 pillars of 3 in the center, and then we'll add 2 more that are 2 blocks tall on each of the sides. And then coming down from here, we'll add a couple more. And in the middle, it's going to be 1 more that's 3 blocks tall, and that's going to be starting from the corner. So 1, 2, 3, and then after that, you'll add another one that's going to go 3 blocks up, and that's going to start from here. So 1, 2, 3, and then same thing on the right side. And then to finish that off, you can just start right here and work your way down until it closes that off. And make sure you do this on each of the other 3 sections as well. So once all that's done, the tower is pretty much finished, although if you want to go even further, I would recommend adding in a couple windows, and these can just be placed in the middle of each of the 4 sections, just like this. And I know the tower seems really undetailed, especially on the lower sections. However, most of that does end up getting covered up in the end or just removed altogether, since it does end up being inside the rest of the building, so don't worry about that. And then moving on to the rest of our build, what we're going to start to do is add some of the other roof sections and also second story areas. But we're going to begin here, right above the front door. And for starters, you can add 3 pillars of 2, just like this, and then add a couple more of those, just moving inwards on each of the 3 wide gaps. And to top it off, you can just add 1 block in between those to connect it all together. And then after that, for every single white space, except for these 3, what you're going to do is add another pillar of 4, just like this, and make sure you do that all the way around the rest of the build, including the section we have over on the back, where there's a little bit of extra cobblestone, so feel free to remove those as well. Once all of those are in place, just like we did for the first floor, you can start adding in your cross beams and sticky-addy bits. However, keep in mind that I did leave this section open since we are going to be planning on adding a little roof right there as well, just to give the build a bit of variety. So if you're not quite sure what to do in this section, I would just recommend making a corner like I've done here. And then I also found another spot that might be a little tricky. Just right here in this corner, all you have to do is connect it to the cobblestone instead. And you may also want to consider replacing the cobblestone here with a spruce wood pillar. Before we keep moving on, there are a couple sections I want to change up just a bit. The first minor one is here on the far right side of the build, and it's pretty simple. All we're going to do is add a small roof right in the middle, and you can do this by adding 2 pillars like this, and then just continue that in, kind of like the roofs we did for the front of the build. So once again, just add 1 block on the very top, and then feel free to remove some of the cobblestone and whatnot, since we will need to add our regular wall material inside there in a bit. And then the major section that we need to change is going to be right here on the very back. So what we'll do is add 2 pillars that go all the way up to the top, and that's going to be done just like that. And then you can add a cross beam all the way up here and also connect the middle section as well. And you may want to consider extending this 1 block out. And once that's done, don't forget to add in your sticky-addy bits. And then from there, you can just go ahead and leave it how it is. And I guess to make it a bit more similar to the front so you guys don't get confused, you may want to consider removing these 5 blocks here, so that way it looks the exact same as the front there, which should in the end just help us connect these 2 sections with 1 single roof. Oh, and I forgot to mention on this back side here, for the roof, what we're going to do is just add 3 blocks going up diagonally, just like that. And then another one of our simple roofs is going to be made right here to the left of that, and that's just going to be 1, 2, 3, just like so, and then you can go back down on the other side. And then for one of our more advanced roofs, what we'll do is place 1 block above each one of the pillars, and then we'll go up 2 on either side, and finish it up by going up 1 right there in the middle. And this exact same design is going to be used all the way over here on the other side, and that's going to start out on these 2 blocks, and then the rest will be the exact same. And you know what, since these 2 roofs here are pretty much the exact same height, I'm actually going to change it up and raise each one of these up 1 more block, and that should make things look a little bit better in the end. But now moving on to what I would call our most advanced roof, We're going to start this off by placing one block here on this middle corner, and also do the same thing over on the other side. And then from there, we'll go up one more once again, and after that we'll go up two, and then we'll finish it off by placing one more block on the very top. And keep in mind that this design is going to be used on the other side as well. I gotta say, this is a rather large building, and with that comes some pretty boring sections on the roof that maybe aren't too pleasant to look at. So to kind of counteract that, what we're going to do is try and break them up a little bit. So our first section where we'll want to do that is here on the far right. So we can start by just mimicking what we did on that roof. So we'll go up one, and then go up again, and then the next one should be up two. And that's going to be as far as we can go. And the next section where we're going to want to place that in will be right here, and that's going to be the exact same as that roof on the end. So we'll place one block, then two, and then two again. And that's going to conclude the shaping of our roof for now. And just to make sure this video doesn't become too long, since I do want you guys to easily be able to skip around in case you need to rewatch a part, I'm going to go ahead and end it right now. So thanks for watching. Hopefully the video has been easy enough to follow so far, and I'll be sure to get part 2 up within the next day or so.